At 2.1, we are going to start our new read aloud book, Roald Dahl. Roald Dahl's James and the Giant Peach. Now, this was the very first Roald Dahl book I ever read, so it has a lot of meaning to me. And personally, I think it's one of the best that he's ever written. We're going to start by checking out what the first couple pages look like. And this is an e-reader, so this is on my computer. I don't have actually the paper copy, so I'm reading it off the computer. So this is the cover, Roald Dahl, James and the Giant Peach. And this is the little blurb that tells you what is going to happen. So a little magic can take you a long way. After James Henry Trotter's parents are tragically eaten by a rhinoceros, he goes to live with his two horrible aunts, Spiker and Sponge. Life there's no fun until James accidentally drops some magic crystals by the old peach tree and strange things start to happen. The peach at the top of the tree begins to grow, and before long it's as big as a house. Inside, James meets a bunch of oversized friends: grasshopper, centipede, ladybug, and more. With a snip of the stem, the peach starts rolling away, and the great adventure begins. I hope that sounds fun, because it will be. So let's check it out. Next page, other books by Roald Dahl, black and white cover page, all of the official things, dedication, all the chapters. So we have 36. Ooh. And the next page, nothing, nothing, nothing. Where is it? I don't know. And there we go. Technology not working the best. But here we go. We have 39 chapters for our book. Now, these chapters are much shorter than our last book. So here we go. James and the Giant Peach, Chapter 1. Until he was 4 years old, James Henry Trotter had a happy life. He lived peacefully with his mother and father in a beautiful house beside the sea. There were always plenty of other children for him to play with, and there was a sandy beach for him to run about on, and the ocean to paddle in. It was the perfect life for a small boy. Then, one day, James's mother and father went to London to do some shopping, and there a terrible thing happened. Both of them suddenly got eaten up, in full daylight, mind you, and on a crowded street, by an enormous angry rhinoceros which had escaped from the London Zoo. Now this, as you can well imagine, was a rather nasty experience for two such gentle parents, but in the long run it was far nastier for James than it was for them. Their troubles were all over in a jiffy. They were dead and gone in 35 seconds flat. Poor James, on the other hand, was still very much alive, and all at once he found himself alone and frightened in a vast, unfriendly world. The lovely house by the seaside had to be sold immediately, and the little boy, carrying nothing but a small suitcase containing a pair of pajamas and a toothbrush, was sent away to live with his two aunts. Their names were Aunt Sponge and Aunt Spiker. And I am sorry to say that they were both really horrible people. They were selfish and lazy and cruel, and right from the beginning they started beating poor James for almost no reason at all. They never called him by his real name, but always referred to him as "you disgusting little beast," or "you filthy nuisance," or "you miserable creature." And they certainly never gave him any toys to play with or any picture books to look at. His room was as bare as a prison cell. They lived, Aunt Sponge and Aunt Spiker, and now James as well, in a queer ramshackle house on the top of a high hill in the south of England. The hill was so high that from almost anywhere in the garden James could look down and see for miles and miles across a marvelous landscape of woods and fields, and on a very clear day, if he looked in the right direction, he could see a tiny gray dot far away on the horizon, which was the house that he used to live in with his beloved mother and father, and just beyond that He could see the ocean itself and a long thin streak of blackish blue like a line of ink beneath the rim of the sky. Now here's the picture of the house that they live on, the really tall hill, looks like the ocean, and James's house, old house, very far in the distance. But James was never allowed to go down off the top of that hill. Neither Aunt Sponger nor Aunt Spiker could ever be bothered to take him out herself, not even for a small walk or a picnic. And he certainly wasn't permitted to go alone. The nasty little beast will only get into mischief if he goes out of the garden, Aunt Spiker had said, and terrible punishments were promised, such as being locked up in the cellar with the rats for a week if he even so much as dared to climb over the fence. The garden, which covered the whole of the top of the hill, was large and desolate, and the only tree in the entire place, apart from a clump of dirty old laurel bushes at the far end, was an ancient peach tree that never gave any peaches. There was no swing, no seesaw, no sandpit, and no other children were ever invited to come up the hill to play with poor James. There wasn't so much as a dog or a cat around to keep him company, and as time went on he became sadder and more lonely, and he used to spend hours every day standing at the bottom of the garden, gazing wistfully at the lovely but forbidden world of woods and fields and ocean that was spread out below him like a magic carpet. Okay, couple things. All right, look what I drew. Look what I drew. Couple things for this chapter. What is one new word that you heard in this book now or so far? There are a lot that I read on this page. Ancient, laurel, what else? Gazing, wistfully, forbidden. Pick a word and ask your parents what could it mean, or find out a way to figure out the word, a dictionary, looking it up online, asking a friend, something like that. And the second thing I want you to do is there a connection that you've made with this book so far with other Dahl books? We've heard of other books from Roald Dahl, like The Twits. Some of you, many of you have seen Matilda performed at school, which is based on a Roald Dahl book. Many of you guys have read Roald Dahl books or seen movies outside of school. So what is a connection that you can make between so far from James and the Giant Peach with another Dahl book? All right, guys, hope you enjoyed. Looking forward to the next chapters. And next time we read, we'll read more than just one. Ah, look, it's on this page. See you later.